What are you doing in my swamp? Hi, I'm Austin's Animals, collecting all things furry. And I know what you want. You want me to review Shrek toys, right? Because 2000s nostalgia and subculture is all the rage these days. I mean, I should know. I grew up in the 2000s and I grew up with Shrek. In 2004, Shrek 2 was my life. I ain't never been so excited for a movie. It was probably the first film I can remember being really excited for as a kid. I remember our local Walmart store having a whole aisle of Shrek toys, and I wanted every one. I had a Scooby-Doo birthday party planned that year, but at the last second, I made my mom change the party to Shrek to ensure I would get nothing but Shrek toys. I ate Shrek pizza rolls, Shrek food, everything was green and Shrek. Shrek was like a plague that year, you really couldn't escape him. I even wore Shrek ears around all day, and made people only call me Shrek instead of Austin. So I guess it seems only fitting that we'd get around to talking about more Shrek toys on this channel. Look, here's some of those ears I was talking about. These weren't my exact ears, these ones are actually sealed and new. So today, what we'll be doing is opening a bunch of Shrek kids meal toys from Burger King. Now some of these toys are actually really rare and cool, so I guarantee there'll be some stuff you haven't seen before. So what better way than to celebrate the spooky season than with a Shrek-tacular Halloween special? Let's check out some Shrek toys. Within the contents of this bag is an absolute bevy of Shrek toys. These are all from Burger King and were to promote Shrek 2. There's a lot of toys here, and at first I was confused as why Burger King had so many kids meal toys, but after doing a little bit of research, I found out that I actually have two different sets of Burger King kids meal toys. The first set of toys we'll be looking at is the European line of Shrek 2 kids meal toys, used to promote the film in the UK. The second set of toys we're going to be looking at is the North American line of kids meal toys. Now, why weren't these toys released in America? I have a theory on why that is, and we'll get into that theory when I actually unbox and open these toys, because yes, today I'm cracking the seal on these 20-year-old toys. Our first item here is the Shrek ears. I mean, what better way to start a Shrek kids meal line than with a wearable pair of ogre ears so that you can be one with the ogre. These ears are actually really nice. The plastic on them is solid. I like how it says Shrek 2 at the top, in case you didn't know, in case you look at these and you're like, I don't know what that's from. And this is all look at the booklet for the European toys. It's kind of got Shrek and Fiona, looks nice. And the information on the back is bilingual, or like a bunch of languages, so that you could ship this to all the European countries. Again, I don't know which countries got these, but I know a lot of Europe did. And here's all the toys. Nice to know that I have a complete set. So all sorts of fun toys we're going to look at here. And let's just look at that kid in his Shrek ears, because that is going to be me when I put these on. Now, I'm still a big fuzzy animal, as you see, and in order to wear these Shrek ears, I'm going to have to morph into human form, just like Shrek in the movie, Shrek 2. So here I become human. Ooh, abracadabra, magic spell, make me human. Ah, that's a little more like it. Now, to become an ogre. It doesn't quite fit my head like it used to. These were a lot bigger when I was a kid. Get out of my swamp. Now let's look at an action figure. Now we're talking. Shrek. Yeah. So we'll crack this open and we'll look at this big ogre fella. Now this is a hefty figure. I thought this guy would be cheap and hollow, but nope. This is a nice, solid figure. Just solid. The likeness is pretty good. I mean, it looks just like Shrek. It's not off-model, and the detail on the costume is honestly incredible. They got that kind of checkerboard pattern sculpted into his tunic, Not even like most of the real licensed nice Shrek toys. I mean, this is a licensed Shrek toy, but it's a kid's meal promotion. You wouldn't expect it to be that nice. And he kind of clicks into this base here, which he just kind of snaps onto, and it nicely holds him up and just makes for a nice display piece. This is a really great Shrek. I love the metallic shiny paint they've used on the armor. It really makes him pop. This one's fun. Next up is Donkey. What goes better with a Shrek action figure than, you know, a nice plastic Eddie Murphy? Now this Donkey comes with a waffle, which reminds me a lot of the Donkey action figure that was released by Hasbro. And man, this figure looks nice. Again, we've got sculpted fur, and you kind of bend his tail, and he does like an eating motion, and that's so he can eat the waffle. So you put the waffle there, he eats it, and it is actually magnetic. So the waffle has a magnet in it, and it clicks, and he picks up the waffle. It doesn't really stay that well, but it's very fun. I would have loved this as a kid, especially because the waffle that comes with the Hasbro one, it doesn't do anything, you know, but smell like waffles. This one actually interacts, and he scales perfectly with Shrek. They look great together. Okay, next is Puss in Boots, the kind of third hero of the trio. The best Shrek character, clearly, the most superior Shrek character. Obviously, on this channel, collecting animal figures, we'd want this awesome Puss in Boots figure. Now, this sculpt is really unique. They make Puss in Boots look really mean, and this is because he's still a villain at this point. This is the scene where, like, he's trying to assassinate Shrek. So you get a bunch of, like, paper projectiles that he can throw at the Shrek figure. Now, this toy's action figure just simply does not work. So I pop out one of the projectiles here, and he's not going to be able to throw it. It sucks. But I will say, this is a cool, unique sculpt of Puss in Boots, because this is the only figure of him with kind of his quiver attached to him. And plus, just that mean sculpt to him. A lot of the Puss in Boots action figures are very friendly and fun, you know, like the character is. Puss in Boots is a very fun character. But this is kind of bad guy Puss in Boots when you first meet him. So I look at the instruction booklet here, trying to figure out how he can throw these things, and it just doesn't work. This toy, unfortunately, does not function that well. But I'm willing to forgive that, because the sculpt is so nice that I bet you most kids would have just played with this as a figure. Also, bonus points for the accessories actually going in the quiver, so that you have a spot to display them. But yeah, it's a really nice sculpt of Puss in Boots. Again, you've got the quiver sculpted down the body, which is unique, so really neat. Okay, now for the gingerbread man, or should I say the big gingerbread man from the end of the movie, because this is kind of a giant one, and he's a big blow-up.
He's gotta have layers to them, like an onion.
So Blow Up Gingy was a huge failure. I debated, you know, maybe getting a pump for this guy or asking some of my other family members to try and blow him up, but no, I think he'll just display better like this anyways. I mean, the gingerbread man is flat, he's not puffy, so he's fine. Okay, next is Fiona, who is a top. And that's all there really is to her. You just kind of have to spin her, and then she spins. Unfortunately, I couldn't get this one to work either. I don't know what the deal with this is, but this top just would not function. I tried everything. It seems to be some sort of like confusing rev thing. We have to rev it up, but who knows. Anyways, the sculpt is pretty decent. There's a lot of detail on the dress, I will say that. Not every figure in this line is going to be a winner, but the rest certainly are. So here is the complete line of European Shrek 2 toys. I love how they're all figural forms. You pretty much get the whole main cast of the movie in figure form. Pretty solid lineup. Moving on to the American toy line, we have Fiona as a top. Wait a second, doesn't this toy look a little familiar? So this is the only toy that is partially shared with the European line. We have Fiona as a top again, but the sculpt is actually totally different. If I had to guess, this must be something to do with safety standards or importing. Whatever the reason, the American line carried this toy over but changed it. Now here's the booklet for the American toy line, and look what we have here. Save $5 instantly on the Shrek 2 video game at Best Buy. Do you think this coupon still works? Can I bring this into Best Buy today if they have a copy of Shrek 2? Either way, I'm gonna have to save this coupon for future use. So here's the lineup of American toys, and you can already just tell how incredibly different this line is. So we're gonna look at all these toys and kind of see how they compare with the European line, or if they're better or worse. And hey, you can also apply to be a BK Big Kids member. How fun. So this Fiona is much simpler than the other one. She kind of comes with this Beyblade style ripcord. All you do is put the ripcord through her and pull it, and she should be able to spin easily. So let's just put you take the tab out like that. And that tab is supposed to be a light up feature, although this toy is almost 20 years old, and that is not going to work. So let's see how she does. And hey, she actually spins. This toy functions great. I am shocked. So thumbs up for that one. Big win. Nicely done, American Fiona. You are superior to European Fiona. Now here is a comparison of the two sculpts that I actually thought were the same, but they're very different. I think the American one has a better likeness to the animated character, but the European one has more detail on the dress. You can see the pattern that's kind of stitched onto the dress, as well as the hairband on the back of a ponytail being painted. So I guess it's just up to preference and style, which look you prefer. Either way, doesn't matter. I mean, they're not really great toys. Okay, so now moving on to Puss in Boots, who has now been turned into a bobblehead. So we have a bobbly Puss in Boots. I do also like that this one's sculpt is kind of mean looking, and he's got that twizzly mustache, which we didn't see in the later movies. So this is a pretty unique Puss in Boots sculpt. I'm not a big fan of the big creepy cat eyes, or really the deformed style at all. I definitely prefer the European figure, but, it's still fun. It's a Puss in Boots bobblehead. How can I complain? And now this one is really interesting. It's kind of just like a big brick, and I'm not sure what it does. So Shrek's in there. He looks like he's trapped. We have to free him. Does he get removed from the jail? I don't know. Let's see. So, the sculpt's nice. I will say that. And there's a button on the back. And what does that button do? When we push the button, he gets all mean. Look at that. He goes, "Nyeh." I don't know why. I can imagine him saying that. He's going like, "Nyeh." Yeah. So he kind of like talks from behind the jail cell. He's like the Shrek version of Sad Eye Joe at Knott's Berry Farm. Oh yeah, if you've ever been there, you talk to the cowboy in the jail cell. That's the Shrek. He's like, "Please let me out. They've put me in movie jail." Well, Shrek, you're going to have to stay in movie jail, because only Puss in Boots gets a movie this year. Now we've got a Shrek journal, Shrek notebook, and it's locked. So I guess you take this key here, it's got a magnet in it, and inside is not a notebook, it's a bunch of cards. What kid doesn't want cards, right? Who needs a notebook? What are you going to do? Write things? Draw things? Be creative? No. There's no creativity here. You just need to understand Shrek 2 and what you need to know about Shrek 2 to go see it in theaters. So we have all these character cards, and there are bios on the back. Shrek is a big, green, ugly, smelly ogre. He enjoyed his life alone in a swamp until he found the love of his life, Princess Fiona. Wow. Now they're happily married. They're gonna have to, learn their differences in Shrek 2 when he becomes a human man. What kid doesn't already know Shrek? Why do we need these? Okay, here's Fiona. And it says that Princess Fiona is not your typical damsel in distress. She's smart, tough, and has been known to dropkick a band of outlaws. Now she's married to her ogre. Blah, blah, blah. Gotta impress the royal family. Just like a boilerplate description of the movie. Like, well, what are you gonna do with this? I feel like you could just look at Fiona once and go, yeah, she's like a princess that knows karate and kicks butt. Here's Puss in Boots. Again, superior character. Best character of Shrek, easily. At least he's a new character, so kids would want to learn about him. He has the steely eyes of a killer. A killer? Oh my god. That's kind of dark. Swashbuckling finesse and really expensive footwear. He's Puss in Boots, the famed ogre killer of myth and song. Did Puss in Boots kill anyone? I'm trying to think. He might have. He might have a high kill count. I gotta rewatch the Puss in Boots movie again, leading up to the new one. It's a great film, by the way. Fairy Godmother, she was a fun villain. She's great. What else is there to say about her, She appears to be everything you ever dreamed of, and a fairy godmother. She arrives with a song and spreads joy and beauty. Oh, but she's not what she seems. So yeah, Interesting that this movie came out the same year as Fairly Odd Parents, which also kind of had an evil fairy godmother character. What an odd trope that was. Pinocchio. Who doesn't love Pinocchio? He might be the best character of the Shrek franchise. He's so great. Pinocchio always wanted to be a real boy, no lie. That's kind of funny. It's kind of clever. I wonder who had to write these cards. What intern at Burger King was forced to learn all about Shrek 2? And finally, we have Eddie Murphy. And it says on the back, Eddie Murphy has got a mouth that just won't quit, as well as a heart of a noble steed. Wow, Eddie Murphy. I loved it when you were on The Father of the Bride. What a great and memorable show that was. Well, now I know everything I need to know about Shrek 2. I'm ready to go see the movie come summer 2004. Maybe I'll take this book with me when I go see Shrek. I'll have to keep that for later. So now we've got Gingy, and I couldn't tell what this toy was from the outside. And it comes with a little card and little games. And this toy, stick with me because this one's a little confusing. You get 2 cards that have games on them. Like games you'd find on the back of a cereal box. They're just terrible. Where is the gingerbread man? Can you find him? You'll have to pause the video if you want to play this exciting game. Well, did you find him? Can you find their match? So can you match each character to the thing they want? I bet you'll never solve that one. And then you get a big plastic ugly gingerbread man that looks like he is jumping out of a trash can filled with vomit. And what you're supposed to do is take these cards and clip them in the side. And why would you want to do that? Well, when this toy originally worked, he would say voice lines from the movie when you did that. Isn't that clever? Isn't it fun? Oh, and the batteries are non-replaceable. Wow. So here's what you'll do. You have to stuff these cards in your handy-dandy Shrek book. You'll want to save those for later. And then, get stuck with a big plastic gingerbread man. Up next is the exciting Shrek LCD game. What 2000s kids meal line was complete without one of these amazing LCD games? Now, what is this game like? Is it the game of the year? Is it better than God of War? I'll never know because the batteries are dead and non-replaceable according to the packaging. So I don't want to open this up and find out what corroded batteries are inside, but we'll just have to assume that we're missing out on the greatest video game of our time. Okay, up next is the Pinocchio lie detector. I was worried this one would also have dead batteries, but it doesn't make any noise. It's just a light game, and it still works. So what you do is you hold this button down, and the truth and lie flash back and forth, and it decides whether what you've said is a truth or lie. Okay, this is actually kind of fun, and I could have totally seen myself using this as a kid on dumb things to find out if they're truths or lies, and for some reason, totally believing it. I keep pressing in here, trying to finally get a lie. It seems to be truth more than not. So yeah, that is actually kind of a fun, goofy toy. I like it. It's neat. It's different. And now we've got Donkey. Oh, I should just say Eddie Murphy. It's funnier to just call Donkey Eddie Murphy. I don't know why, but it is. Probably because Eddie Murphy is awesome. And this is a watch with dead batteries as well. As soon as I saw that pamphlet, I'm like, great. It's another electronic that doesn't work. They were really into electronics during this time, huh? Every kids' meal toy line had to have electronics. So you could set that if you want. Maybe find replaceable batteries, but I'm not going to. And then I don't know what you do with it, because it's not attached to a watch. It's not something you wear. It's just a big, giant donkey head. When you want to check the time, find the donkey head. So that's all of our toys opened up, and look at all this trash I've created. Plastic wrappers everywhere, but isn't that the proof of a fun unboxing? So here is the complete North American Shrek 2 Kids Meal line in its entirety. There's the whole line right there. And then contrast it with the rare European Shrek Kids Meal line. So these are the European toys. So European, American. Which one do you like more? Which one do you prefer? So again, European on the left and North American on the right.
I think given the choice between the two, the European toy line is simply much better. These are really nice, cool figures that make for great displays. They have a lot of heft to them, sculpts are good, they're just solid figures. The American line just has too much junk, stuff you're really not going to use at all, like, the gingerbread cards. Who kept those? So even the book, like what kid was actually going to use that to hold anything other than dumb bio cards? Like, what's the point of that? I will say, though, a little bit of a shout out to Jail Shrek. He is the best. He is the highlight of the American toy line. This line is fun. It's not a bad movie toy line, but it doesn't hold a candle to these awesome figures.
So the question on everyone's mind, why did North America get such useless crap while Europe got awesome action figures? Well, I think this has to do with something called a master license. The Shrek 2 action figure line, released in America, was developed by Hasbro, a pretty big toy company, and they had absolute control over Shrek licensing. I'm sure getting action figures in your kids' meal could have hurt Hasbro's sales, whereas something like a bobblehead or an LCD game would have no impact on action figure sales in Hasbro's eyes. Look no further than the Donkey waffle figure compared with its European Happy Meal. Both are basically the same toy, except one you get free with your food and one you have to pay $10 for. And heck, I would argue the European toy is better than the Hasbro toy, since he can actually eat his waffle with that magnetic feature. So I'm sure Hasbro saw these kids' meal toys and basically begged or sued DreamWorks not to release them in America. Look at the European Shrek compared with the smaller Hasbro Shrek figure. It is miles better. It really is. Now, by the time Shrek the Third hit, Hasbro dropped the Shrek license, and there was really no toy company with a big Shrek license. I know MGA made some figures, but that left McDonald's to finally make some Shrek figures in their kids' meal. Regardless, the European toys are a wonderful gem and complement any Shrek collection nicely. They even nicely blend in with the McFarlane Shrek toys, which is really saying something since those figures are awesome. They're absolutely worth tracking down. They're really good. Alright, Shrek, it's time to go film the new Shrek 5 and make a bunch of money. Okay, Donkey, just follow me into this dark, mysterious forest. That's not the real Shrek with Donkey. You gotta believe me. It's an impostor. Free me! Free me! Of course I know that's an impostor. Donkey must die, and the Shrek franchise with it. Then there will only be Puss in Boots movies, the superior Shrek spin-off films. Admit it, these movies are much better. Go see Puss in Boots. Go see Puss in Boots in theaters this December. Go see Puss in Boots. Go see Puss in Boots. Death to Shrek.